What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about something that I think has somehow gone slightly under the radar that makes Battlefield 2042 almost impossible to become a bust, and that is Battlefield Portal. Obviously, after the beta there are plenty of mixed opinions out there. Some people absolutely loved it, some people enjoyed it but had a few issues, and some people absolutely hated it. But from essentially all the issues I've seen people having so far with the game, they almost all seem fixable with Battlefield Portal, and we're essentially going to go through a bunch of examples of what I mean in this video in terms of the main issues that people have and the ways that they can very easily be fixed. Before we get into it, if you guys are new to the channel, then consider subscribing and turning on those notifications. But with that being said, let's get stuck right into it. So like I said, I think that somehow Portal has gone kind of unnoticed by a lot of people in the community, or at the very least it seems that many people don't fully understand the scale and the magnitude of what Portal has to offer, because Portal alone can essentially fix any issues that anyone has with the game. For example, the main complaint that I've seen so far about the game, and I'm kind of in the same boat here, is that people seem to really dislike the specialist system, as it's obviously a very different take on the typical class system, and so far it definitely hasn't gone down all that well. Now, an immediate fix to this situation that I think a lot of people just don't seem to fully understand is that Portal allows you to remove the specialist system and add back in those typical classes that we know and love from, say, Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 3. So realistically, you can play Battlefield 2042 from day one of when the game launches, and you can never once spend a single minute playing with the specialist system. If you dislike it, you can simply find servers in Battlefield Portal that you like the sound of, which remove the specialists, and those servers might have 2042 content only, but then just the Battlefield 3 classes, or it might have 2042 content and Battlefield 3, Bad Company 2 and 1942 content as well. Or if you just dislike everything about 2042 overall, you can literally just play on the 2042 engine but play the 6 maps and regular classes and weapons from those 3 older games. Now, I've heard a lot of people saying stuff like, oh, but that takes away from 2042, no one will play the regular game, and my response to that is, does that even matter? At the end of the day, we'll still be playing Battlefield 2042, and as far as I'm concerned, as long as we're all having fun, then I don't think it really matters at all whether we're playing all-out warfare or playing essentially the exact same thing in Battlefield Portal. The mode that we're playing doesn't really detract from any other aspect of the game, in my opinion. The only exception to this is whether or not it reduces the player numbers and makes it harder to find games, and while that is definitely a possibility, I think that's something we won't really need to worry about for right now, since launch will obviously have millions of players involved in the game, and over time, if DICE do see it becoming an issue, then they will hopefully add some sort of like a rental server program that allows us to set up permanent servers, and that would be no different than Battlefield 4, which still to this day has a super healthy player base over 8 years after it launched. Another area that Portal can be a game changer is the ability to essentially balance the game ourselves and even do our own weapon tuning to some extent, meaning if there are weapons or gadgets in the game that are just super overpowered, we as a community will be able to fix them on our own. DICE have confirmed that we're able to change a heap of those sort of smaller, more intricate details in the logic editor, which is a whole other level to Portal that I don't think we'll actually truly understand the scale of until probably 6 or more months after launch. And through that, and even partly through the more basic rule editor, we're able to change stuff like the damage outputs of certain weapons or gadgets, the overall health of players and classes. Essentially anything in the entire game that has a value or a number attached to it can be tweaked in Battlefield Portal. Let's just say the M5A3 is just completely broken and it beats every weapon in the game by a country mile. Simply tweak that weapon to be more in line with where you want it, or better yet, just remove that weapon from the game overall. Let's just say tanks and choppers are completely OP, well, reduce the amount they can spawn, or add longer respawn timers, or reduce their overall health, or again, just literally delete them from the server. Let's just say you love the specialist system but you hate how strong Jisoo is, well, delete Jisoo or reduce her health or something. The possibilities are genuinely endless with what we're going to be able to achieve in Battlefield Portal. I could list examples like that for quite literally an hour and only begin to scratch the surface of ways that we can fix or improve elements of the game. And the great part is that everyone is able to do this. It isn't just up to the developers, it's up to us as the community. DICE have essentially said to us, okay, here's Battlefield 2042, we've got a new setting, we've changed the class system, the maps are huge, we hope you like it, but if you don't, we also have Battlefield Portal for you guys, break a leg and have some fun. They've genuinely given us complete control of how we want to play the game, and I think it hasn't really sunk in yet for most people, and probably won't until about 3 or 4 months after launch, once people realise just how crazy Battlefield Portal is. Now, another issue that I hear people having with Portal is, who cares if I can make a server how I want it, no one will join it anyway because everyone will have their own servers and all the servers will be empty. Now, on paper that is a fair enough concern, but in reality, one, DICE are adding their own official servers, so there'll be official Conquest servers with no specialists or only Battlefield 3 content or whatever the case may be, there'll be plenty of options that they give us from their own created servers, and those will no doubt be just as populated as any previous game in the franchise. And then 2, there'll definitely be some sort of like general consensus of what people like to play, and there'll always be servers with those rule sets, meaning you likely won't have to actually create the servers for yourself and still be able to find servers that are populated that have pretty much every setting you would have wanted anyway. For example, if you absolutely love 2042 in every single way but you just don't like the specialist system, there will definitely be servers that have like all 13 of the maps, so 7 from the base game and 6 from the Portal content, with every weapon you could want but no specialists allowed. With how many people there'll be playing this game, and with the fact that Battlefield 4 still has so many players because of a system like this where people can create their own servers, honestly I find it very hard to believe that there won't be a server for you at all times, giving you heaps of options for how you want to play the game. At the end of the day, maybe I'm just being incredibly naive, and as I always say, if I'm wrong I'll be back here eating my words in 6 months, but honestly I cannot physically imagine a way in that Portal doesn't become an absolute success over the course of this game's lifespan, and even for years and years after the next game comes out too. It's set up in a way that we can all fix our own problems if DICE don't fix them for us, and outside of the mode just being completely bugged to hell or like something that's just a drastic failure from DICE, I genuinely just cannot seem to find a way in which it realistically has the potential to fail. Any of the issues that people have so far with 2042 seem to be fixable pretty much immediately through Portal, and so long as this game gets the support that it deserves, I think Portal will be an absolute success regardless of how the base game of 2042 actually goes. Whether you agree or disagree, definitely let me know your own thoughts on Portal down in the comments section guys, and especially if you have any questions about Portal then feel free to ask me down below and I will do my best to answer as many of those questions as I possibly can. If you enjoyed the video then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new then consider subscribing to the channel with those notifications on. If you guys want to support the content that I make here on YouTube then consider becoming a channel member, but with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.